This is
more Star
Jedi
Wars
3.
games that we didn't
Yeah,
know we were getting.
the Jedi
Respawn
3 news is
Entertainment,
concerning.
Who, of course, make the Jedi games, who also make Apex.
Yo, what the we just paused on? Oh, okay.
Legends, who previously made the Titanfall games, have just come out with
Uh-huh.
a new statement about what's happening at the company. And to start with, it's not good and is potentially going to impact, well, will impact Star Wars games and the Star Wars games they're making, including potentially the next Jedi game.
That was our friend in the first one, right?
Hey everyone, it's Andrew. So Respawn have just announced that they are stepping away and essentially cancelling two games that were in early development at the studio. But in addition to that, are also making some targeted team adjustments across Apex.
Wait, there made a decision to step away from 2 early stage incubation projects and make some targeted team adjustments. I think that means people are getting fired, right? Across Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi. Decisions aren't easy and we are deeply. I don't even know what games Respawn works on. We have helped build
Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi. And it turns out what this means is that 100 employees at Respawn are being affected by this, meaning that they're either losing their jobs or are being moved on to other studios, namely EA Motive, who are working on the Iron Man game, or being...
I played the first 2 Iron Man games they made. They're both not entertaining. The Iron Man games, they're from a while ago. The first one was like, it was like kind of, I think a little bit higher production, right? Dude, that game was so boring. Looking back on now, like the whole time you're just, it's like a shooting simulator. There's not really any melee combat in that game. The entire game, you're just like flying around shooting stuff, you know, and then trying not to die. The second one, I think you could do a little bit more melee, but it was... You could definitely tell that they put a lot of care into it, but the production of it was a little bit lower, I think. I don't know. You know what I mean?
shifted around to work on either Battlefield or Star Wars Zero Company, the new strategy game, or other games.
Hey, yo, dude, Star Wars Zero, we might have to check that out.
They have in development that they're not.
Dude, if that's I'm not gonna lie. Aliens, Dark Descent made me fall in love with top-down like squadron shooters, dude.
Not telling us about yet.
Like, I'm actually excited for another one. I would love a Star Wars one, just like Alien. What's it called, dude? Imagine a group of clones running around freaking in the Sith and shooting droids and stuff, dude. That'd be awesome. IGN, and we can name our own troopers. That means you guys get a
reported that one of the canceled games was a multiplayer first-person shooter that was a spin-off of the other canceled first-person Star Wars game being made at Respawn. That was canceled at the start of 2024 and was supposedly a Mandalorian.
They really threw a Fortnite loading screen on here.
Themed first-person shooter. So clearly some of the developers who were working on that moved on to a new FPS, which I don't think was necessarily Star Wars related, but then now that's also been cancelled.
We're on the... I'm not too sad about a first-person Star Wars shooter game. I don't know. This doesn't appeal to me too much, I guess.
Great. We were this close.
The other game that's been cancelled, Bloomberg reports, was an extraction shooter set in the Titanfall universe. So it seems like
another
far away.
Another extraction shooter. Bruh, I never played. Maybe I should play Titanfalls. I never played any of them. They didn't ever seem too appealing to me, but that's probably because I just when we were younger, we just shut out anything that was in Call of Duty. And we finally got so desperate playing Call of Duty that we decided to pick up Halo, and then we fell in love with Halo. But maybe Titanfall is a game we visit at some point.
Away from ever getting a Titanfall 3, which is kind of funny and disappointing because in 2021, Respawn made this tweet. They said, contrary to what some folks are reporting, Titanfall is the very core of our DNA. Who knows what the future holds? Now, this tweet from 2021 went viral, has 46,000 likes right now, is still public on Respawn's account, meaning that potentially they are still working on something Titanfall.
When companies say this stuff, like I have no, like the way, how quickly stuff has changed, I feel like I have little faith in, like, I don't have like any like love for a singular. I think the only gaming company I really love or that I really have like a, oh, this is like, you know, like a loyal, like I don't want to say loyalty to, but like a more of a, you know what I mean? You don't know what I mean. Look, I'm new to this. This is my first time reacting to another video. Okay, just give me some slack. Like Rockstar Games is the only one that I'm like, oh, that company is gonna slap. Bro, there's people over here talking about BioWare. You can say Mass Effect is the core of your DNA, but you're still making them shit. Like, I'm sorry, Andromeda was ass. You know what I mean? That's why when companies over here, oh yeah, this is I'm sorry, but a lot of these companies are not the same companies that they've always been.
Full themed related, but with this recent layoff, it seems less and less likely. Kind of disappointing.
Oh man.
Okay, but
not
what
the ranker
effect
guy.
is this having on Star Wars? Because the next part of the post they made, I think, has some really interesting terminology referring to the Star Wars games they're making. They said, within the Star Wars universe, we're excited to keep building new stories, with the next chapter of the Star Wars Jedi series aiming to raise the bar again for storytelling and gameplay. Now, previously, they've referred to the next Jedi game to be the final Jedi game, the final of a trilogy,
Okay.
and potentially of Cal Kestis' story. But
That's kind of sad to hear. I really like Cal Kestis' character, but I think, you know, I mean, oh, the third one's the final one, and then they realize, oh, this is our moneymaker. This is the moneymaker here, man. This is a really good Star Wars like series. I'm sure they'll do a fourth one, or they're gonna pass it to someone else and they're gonna fumble the fourth one.
with this terminology, using the word next, the next chapter of the Star Wars Jedi series, implies that potentially they have plans to continue developing Star Wars games well into the future. Perhaps we're going to see a new Star Wars Jedi themed game from Respawn every 3-4 years. But with this, I think they're also referring to Star Wars.
That would be nice if they do in the Cal Kestis storyline, which I'm sure they're gonna pick him up later in live action. I can almost bet my conductor hat on that. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to bring him into live action and revive some show or some love for Star Wars. But I wouldn't mind moving along to a different character. You know, start games on a different character.
Star Zero Company.
Just keep it a Jedi.
Being developed in conjunction with BitReactor, a new EA studio.
This is what I'm looking
created
for.
And founded, I believe, by a bunch of XCOM devs who used to work on the XCOM games. So Respawn are doing more with Star Wars than just working on another Jedi game already.